So the big thing that we launched last month, and we'll talk a little bit about, is with Stripe, this product called the Machine Payments Protocol. I think one of the other presenters talked about large proliferation of agentic commerce protocols. Definitely see it, recognize it. I think it's a very interesting space. But the main motivation behind machine payments protocol and just Tempo in general is you'll notice we're taking kind of like a two-phased approach. We think there's a lot of very interesting things happening in payments, just stable coins as a form of better money. They make cross-border flows much more efficient. They make payroll much more efficient. They make just general netting much more efficient. But then on top of that, you take a look at these efficiency gains and say like, okay, how can these be applied to the net new things that are happening in payments, and how does that translate? Like, I think all of us recognize, and probably our daily work life has changed a lot in the last year or so as a result of just using AI more. And we all recognize that these tools, they are creating value, and on the other end, that value needs to be captured, that value needs to be recognized, and that's fundamentally where payments come in. So we with Stripe designed this protocol called the Machine Payments Protocol. And what this is at a very high level is just a way to, we think about it as the payment form for agents. So everybody's probably very familiar with payment forms. You load them up, there's 100 plus payment methods. You can fill out the same details in every form. It's all very mechanical. That is great and it works very well, but it just inherently introduces a lot of friction up front. You have to load a browser, you have to fill out the form. It's the same every single time. And that introduces reliability issues, but it also introduces massive headwinds in terms of there's 20 plus years of people trying to stop programmatic buyers on the internet, bot protections, captchas, etc. You're just consistently fighting those headwinds. So we, from first principles, took a look and thought, okay, what is the payment form interface for agents, for machine buyers, as we like to think about them, and we designed that in NPP. What this looks like, and I'll show you like just a high level walkthrough, and then we'll do a demo, is it works just natively in the HTTP request response flow. So if I'm getting a API request, like today I'm trying to look up the price of like Brent crude oil, it's very hard to get this opaquely. So you can pay somebody 1 cent, maybe access their API. You don't need to get an API key. Transfer that over Tempo, over Stripe, over one of 10 plus payment methods right now, and immediately get a response back. I realized I wasn't sharing the right tab. But what this looks like in practice is maybe we're going to make a call out to Parallel. They're a large data provider for a lot of like LLM-based search backends. They do a lot of web scraping aggregation. We don't have a Parallel API key set up, but what we can do is spin up a wallet, add funds on Tempo. We make a request to this API. We don't have an API key or like a formal billing relationship with them. And we're able to make paid API calls through this service. And we get pretty reasonable results. So notable things here, and I'll go to another tab, is the really novel thing about MPP is on day one, we support almost 10 payment methods now. So this looks like really classical stuff of like Tempo, Stripe, Solana as well. Like some of the Bitcoin people added payment methods as well. And Visa, in addition, extended our spec and has added cards into MPP. So we think we've seen there's a lot of interest around this space in general, but not a lot of it is translated to be multi-payment method and multi-interface. And that is a really big push for us. So an example of like what this looks like in the Stripe world, which is always a little mind-bending for people, is this is an example of just payment gating an article. This is something which people are really familiar with and has always been kind of an idea dating back since the 90s, but wasn't really either technically feasible or economically feasible, just because of the Rails. So what this looks like in practice is you see I loaded this web page, I get the exact same response. It is saying, hey, you loaded the page, it's a 402, you have to pay me, and I accept Stripe. This is how much it costs and the parameters. You could imagine a page very similar to a payment form, accepts 100 plus payment methods. You or your agent or whatever programmatic buyer you have chooses the method that's most appropriate for itself. In this case, I have my linked Stripe card. This is all just like vaulted on my behalf. I'm able to confirm payment, and this just goes through the exact same control flow. I get a 200, the rest of the page loads. All of this, I could have chosen Tempo, I could have chosen any other blockchain, I could have chosen whatever stablecoin I wanted. All of it is the exact same programmatic flow, which we think is super exciting and all plugs together.